Good morning to everybody. This pod is going to be a little bit different to the Wednesday one. We're just going to go into a little bit more detail about the games thus far, go through the scores, potential gold mines, implications, et al, et al, et al. So strap yourselves in. We'll see how this goes. This is the first time doing a solo pod, guys. So bear with me if it's a little bit clunky. We're going to start with the Melbourne and Brisbane game from last night, also known as the Joe Chan game. One of those trade-ins, if you made it, that just makes you smile, guys. There's nothing better than a cheapie playing out of his skin, and he certainly did that last night. Big shout out to those that have experienced the Arc and Joe Chan this year so far. Great signs for you guys making these little calls early. If you're a clown like me and brought in Fina Fuiaki, who's yet to play, admittedly, over Joe Chan, keep your gloves up. Keep your gloves up, guys. As always, next week, Tom Flegler, get ready to speak Joe Chan, buddy. When it comes to the game, I thought that the Broncos, they absorbed a lot of pressure early. They scrambled like crazy on their line. And the scoreboard kind of flattered them at halftime. I think it was 14-0. Their execution on last plays in attacking shape was woeful. Jordan Ricky kicking it out on the full, Pakes going down short sides and there was nothing on. Walsh barely touching it in the first 40. But it all changed at halftime. A friend of the show, well, my co-host on a Wednesday, the Demon Prince of Hedonism Soccer, he gave me a call. We revved each other up and we live bet the Bronx. He got on him at $13. I got him at $10. And that was one of the great whip homes in the second half of all time from a punting perspective. Yeah, I guess, again, go back to the game. In the second half, the passes started sticking for the Bronx. The defense continued to hold up. They defended like crazy. Real desperate stuff. It's just a huge win on the road for them. Season turning around. Gordy Tallis probably still going to be going at Madge this week. I thought also interesting that Bellyache in the presser, he was really, really composed. Must watch. Recommend watch to any Storm fans out there, all three of you. They've just seen this movie before with this point of the season, but the Bronx are certainly their boogeyman. Listen, getting into the game here, Joe Chan, 128. In case you need any reminding, he scored a try. He set one up, 34 tackles, 6 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, 12 runs. The knock on the guy has always been his low base, low involvement, but I'm pretty sure that now sends him up around the high 50s base power average this year so far. The guy is just doing Eli Katoa so proud, man. Must have been a great preseason for him. And, like with Sua, doesn't have to do a lot. He does a lot, but guys like Hughes just get him in the right spots. And Chan's aggression last night was crazy. So many times he's ripping the inside shoulder off of the defense. And it would have been an absolute points bonanza if you owned and played Joe Chan and Sua Falongo, where at one point there was a TA into a T. That's just super coach gold there. So shout out to the owners. Moving forward, Jerome Hughes with a ton, 102, a try assist, 5 line break assists. 5 line break assists is crazy. I'm pretty sure Sua Falongo also had a game this year so far with 5 line break assists. Look into it. Hughes is only 6% owned. He's averaging 80 now, and he was priced at $631K. Next week, he's got a revenge game against the Cows, his former side. Then goes into Penrith, which, bit of a write-off this year by the looks. Then they play the Wires in Melbourne. If you owned him, you're cheering. You're just getting value for money deluxe. The other side of the coin, you've got Hines, Nathan, AD all killing it. It's going to be tough to move off one of those guys. But if you're a Sammy Walker owner looking for a Zag, low ownership Zag, Hughes may be your guy. Payne Haas, 84 in 72 minutes, all base power. what else? There's not really much to say about this guy. It's just the definition of getting what you pay for. He's done that pretty much all this year. He plays the Finns next week. He's going to absolutely murder their little pack. I think everyone's happy with his scores so far. You know, all 70% of you that own him, and then all 30% of people like myself who thought it was a good idea to go without him. Everyone's happy. You're getting what you pay for. I'm not missing out on 120s. I would just say don't captain Payne Haas, though, unless you're a boring missionary cunt like 7. Stuart Fa'alongo, 79, 1 try, 9 tackle breaks, and 24 runs. That's got to be the most runs he's ever done in a game, guys. He's just so fit. He pops up everywhere. It's really interesting to watch him. Like, they'll go down the right, then he'll pop up on the left, and he's supporting through the middle. I thought the Bronx did a really good job on him, if that's at all possible to say, given how good he looked. That could have very easily been 120 for him again. There's just so many little moments where he poked his head through, skipping across the line, breaking tackles. Is it going to be a long-term hold? Maybe. Again, like with Joe Chan, he doesn't have to do a lot. Just gets put into good positions. And as soon as it gets on the outside shoulder of someone, it's pretty much over. There's a little bit of an offload developing as well with Sua, so keep tabs on that. Stefano Uto-Ikamanu, 71 in 61 minutes. That was 44 tackles, 10 runs, 4 tackle breaks. No offloads last night for Stefano, but yeah, I'll tell you what, it's just great to see the minutes. That was kind of the hesitation from a few in the preseason, I believe, is like, okay, he finished last year really well. Great in the finals. Does he just get ramped up again? But it just hasn't been the case this year. It seems as though Bellamy really trusts him as that alpha. Noted that King only played 48 minutes last night. Stefano 61. That's been the case a couple of weeks in a row, even with Liero back off the bench. Nonetheless, he's just playing really well above his price tag. Priced at 50-something, averaging 70. Again, the Bronx did a really good job on him last night. I thought he talked a lot of shit, which, again, I love. We need more shit talk in the NRL. But yeah, the Bronx did a good job on him. No offloads, but he was a bee stick away from scoring a try off Grant, which would have sent me into a dead set frenzy. Reece Walsh with a 69, a really nice score from Reece. That involved a try assist, 3 goals, a 40-20, a couple of forced dropouts. He was everywhere without being anywhere at the same time. A real tale of two halves for Walshy. They couldn't find him early, as I mentioned before. Their execution was really poor. The Bronx, he barely touched in that first half. And then he came to life a little bit in the second, which again, when you get on him live at 10-1, you're absolutely loving, you're whipping him home. I think he was cramping up. He didn't seem to be moving the greatest last night, Walsh. So maybe keep an eye on that, I guess, during the week for any kind of news or captain's run photos on Instagram. But listen, he did enough to suggest that, okay, he's still Reece Walsh, if that makes sense. He'll be 788K next week with an 80 break even. They then go into the Finns, the Titans, the Cows, and Wests. And Reece Walsh will be the most traded in next week. Keep tabs on if Reynolds is out as well, because he'll keep that goal kicking. Final one to look at was Harry Grant with a 47. Listen, this is just going to be a victory lap for me, guys, as a Grant anti-Potter. This is why you don't pay money for hookers. He kicked 3 goals. Sweet. He's got 47. Hookers a dead zone. Reed Barney season, baby. Reed Barney season versus the Titans on Sunday. Just popping over to the comments before we get into the next game. Cam Wynn from the top rope. Unexpected Saturday morning pod, but we are here for it. It's great to see you, mate, and it'll be great to see you tomorrow. Cam Wynn, once again, chiming in, keeping in the family. I wish that Lasati the best, but Joe Chan, thank you for your services. Cam Wynn, certainly one of the 9 or 10% people that brought in Joe Chan and played him. Well done to you, mate. Again, glad I didn't give you any kind of advice when it came to Joe Chan, because you know much better than me. So that wraps up the Melbourne and whoever they played Broncos game last night. Let's do it. Let's talk about the Chooks and Penrith. As a Roosters fan, one of the toughest watches Actually, you know what? It wasn't a tough watch. Kind of expected something like this going in, but it was grim, man. Really frantic start to this game. I believe there was 4 line breaks in the first 10 or 15 minutes. The Roosters looking great. We were letting it sing early. And I thought Robson's service from dummy half was really crisp. Just throws these 10 to 15 meter cutout, not cutout passes, but just seeds from 9, getting the ball right out in front on the chest. We haven't really had that since Jake Friend retired at the age of 28 or whatever it was. So that was promising. But then Lindsay Collins dropped the ball in a yardage set, and it was just a slow death after that. Yeah, from a Roosters perspective, fans' perspective, it was just same old shit, really. Errors in yardage. That was forced by line speed. Again, Mitch Kenny, Liam Martin. It gets talked about, but probably not enough. They're just so valuable in that regard. It's completely suffocating. You have to kick from your 30, 40 every time Edwards catches it. He's got the ball around halfway. Game over, you know. Yeah, it's just a great pleasure to watch the Panthers. You just got to respect the greatness of it. You know, dynasty not over, as Ivan said in the press conference after the prelim last year. It's just awesome to watch any kind of sporting franchise that's elite, whether that be, you know, whoever, in whatever sport. The Panthers are certainly that in our sport. Just awesome to witness Nath and Yo and Edwards and their composure. It's just second to none, guys. In terms of the scores, Milky Jenkins, 134, top scorer of the game. That was 4 tries, 13 runs. He will go up 100K to 696 and have a 9 break-even versus Para. Listen, if you're one of the 1.6% of coaches that own him, I just want to say, guys, congratulations. When's the pod? Just love the story with this guy. You know, they talk about it a bit, but he was obviously at the Panthers originally, goes up to Newey, 2 or 3 year deal, gets 1 year into it, says no thanks, literally hands them back the contract, and then goes back to Penrith on minimum deal, I'd assume. He's awesome, seems to have a great attitude and be a lovely fella. He's really good in the air, and I really like that try he scored when he must have ran like 50, 60 meters, and the balance he showed. You know, he was about to hit the deck, but he regathered himself and kicked on, and yeah, great athlete. Dylan Edwards, 93, 2 tries, 15 runs. He hasn't received the hype of the other fullbacks in the super coach world for obvious reasons. There's realistically more upside with, you know, your turbos and that. But listen, he looks really fit and healthy. He dropped off a little bit towards the end of last year, making a lot of strange un-Edwards-like errors. But yeah, he looks like a dog again. Not really relevant for me unless Nath is out. I believe he averages for his career in the mid-90s when Nath doesn't play, mostly attributed to goal kicking. But again, you know, another guy playing above his price tag. Robert Toya, 89, 2 tackle breaks. 22 tackles, 5 tackle breaks, 17 runs, which is fucking that's a decent number for a center. And he scored a try. It's a sophomore season, obviously, growing in confidence. Put a lovely move on Casey to score a try, a little shimmy, shimmy, whoosh. Bit of Mark Gaz about it. He's going to benefit a lot from that last pass try assist. He's got Marky Mark outside of him, who I don't believe, I think he's scored like 1 try this year so far. But yeah, listen, a lot of the chook shape does go to the right. You've either got Teddy out the back with the tip-on play, or they'll kind of go through their hands with Wong getting a bit of attention, running an unders line, and it just creates the space on the right. He already had a bit of an uptick, I believe, under the new stats. So yeah, look, he might be a nice little pod when the Chooks draw gets solid, which is going to probably be in a couple of weeks, given they play Manly and then the bye. So yeah, shout out to Rob Toya. Probably the only, Teddy was good as well, I guess. Isaiah Yo, 86. He had 30 tackles, 3 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, 14 runs, and a try assist. He played 70 minutes. And listen, he was carrying the ball really strongly until the end. The whole thing of him not playing 80 isn't because he's not fit or regressing or anything like that. Last night kind of proved that. You know, he's a fucking gun, man. It just seems as though they want Cogger in the middle and whatever. I really love watching him play. He always makes the right decisions. there's a couple of times there where, they had momentum and lesser forwards, lesser middles, whatever would shift it and, maybe kill the play. But he goes like fourth tackle. Okay, I'll just wrap it under, tuck it under, get a good play of the ball and give Nath some space to kick instead of making him kick from, 2 passes in from the sideline. Just a class player. He was traded out by 2.2%. And I guess those people who traded him out are somewhat vindicated, given, the try assist means he basically scored 66 in 70. But also, if you kept him, you're happy. I think everyone's happy with that score. IPAP, 72. He played 63 minutes, 29 tackles, only 1 tackle break and 1 offload. He had 15 runs. I believe 10 of those were under 8 meters as well. And he also had a lovely TA. The TA was lovely. It was a right to left cutout pass to Milky Jenkins, which I didn't know he had in his bag. Isaiah Papali'i, I owe an apology. I wasn't familiar with your game. That was something that was great. Listen, I brought him in, so I was cock a hoop when he threw that 20-meter seed. And his work rate was great. He got swarmed a lot by the Chooks, Lindsay Collins namely, and he wasn't really able to, well, he only broke 1 tackle and 1 offload, which kind of is his upside. Nonetheless, you'll take the 72. The rotation, yeah, like Martin obviously started, Garner on the bench, Martin comes off, Garner goes to the right, then at the 63-minute mark, Garner switches over to the left, Martin comes back on. That might be the way they do it. It could have been a game scenario. Who knows? He did look a little bit stuffed before that. He was doing a lot of cleanup work. A couple of great legs tackles on Tedesco and kick returns. I believe he's a trade-in target due to the upside. He's only 5% owned. I think he's going to go up by about 40K and be mid-600s. Dude, this is a top 5 2RF, in my humble opinion. Just playing on that left side at Penrith, the tackle break offload game. Yeah, I wouldn't knock anyone for getting on him next week. I know there's questions about the rotation and all that shit, but a guy like this doesn't really need 80 minutes. He's just got so much attacking upside. He hasn't scored a try yet and still pumping out 70s for fun. Moving forward, a couple more players in this game. Nathan Cleary with, a nice 69. 1 try assist and 6 goals. I think they scored 7 tries. So, yeah, like if you told me that Penrith put on 40, you're thinking, well, Nath's 120. But this is just the way Supercoach goes sometimes, guys. Nath played the ultimate. I played way better in real life than my Supercoach score suggests last night. Definitely the new stats going to work here. I feel maybe under the previous interpretation, he does have a couple more try assists, especially that far out when they're in attacking shape. He's like fanning to the left. He throws a no-look cutout pass to Edwards, I think it was, on McLean. Papali'i running unders line. Didn't even get anything for that. But, yeah, barely got a TC. He was in everything. He could have easily scored a couple of tries in support as well. Obviously, that Brian To'o try was unbelievable. And I think there was another one where he was streaming downfield, but he didn't get it. I noted down here that he had what I said is an immortal sequence. They were not struggling for meters, but it was a fairly lackluster set. The Chooks were defending pretty well. Nath kind of feigned right, got Teddy to bite, kicked it back to the left, found grass, Tupo picking it up from the 5-meter line. Panthers defense met him at the 10. They forced an error, and then that try assist that we just referred to with that lovely dummy, it occurred then. He just like, fuck. And then I'm pretty sure he kicked the goal from the sideline after that. Yeah, just a pleasure to watch Nath every week. Don't own him, but will soon. He'll be 812K. He'll have a 78 break even versus Para. Then he has the Storm and the Dogs. I'm not sure where that Storm game is, but they aren't the best 2 matchups to get. They're probably the second and third worst outside of playing Penrith, but they can't play themselves, I guess. They have the Finns in round 7 looming. I think if you didn't bring Nathan this week, yeah, look, that Para break even, he'll shit that in. But maybe it's not only just kind of white knuckle it for the next 3 weeks, but 100% by the Finns game in round 7, he's got to come in. 2 more guys. Tedesco, 66, no major attacking stats. How old's Teddy? he's 32. He's evergreen. He doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. The line break off the kick return was just beautiful to watch. He's such an interesting runner of the ball. He's got such a strange gait, but I think they said on commentary, it's like you can cut his head off and you recognize that it's him. Beautiful tap-ons in his game. Probably unlucky not to get the try assist for that Toya try. I feel like I've seen much less given. Nonetheless, he will be 830k and have a break even of 130 versus Manly, and then the Roosters have a bye. You know, the natural reflex is to say wait for the bye and bring him in when they go to Perth because, you know, maybe he drops another 15, 20k. But the big dick energy super coach play is to bring Tedesco in next week. I know he's got a high break even. I know he's got the bye next week, but they play Manly. And that could be anything if the Chooks are even half decent. Speaking of being half decent, a guy that was not half decent yesterday was slamming Sammy Walker. He pumped out a 29, didn't even kick a goal. He missed his only attempt. This is really niche, but I feel like if I own a player who's a goal kicker and he misses the first conversion, it's just, I don't know, there's something in it. I just think like, man, he's not on today. And he wasn't. But this is Penrith. You know, this is the Penrith theory in effect. I think that Toya score was probably the highest score that anyone's actually put on Penrith this year. Just really frustrating day for Sammy. You can't really do much when you don't have much of the pill. Look, he'll be okay. I'm a Sam Walker apologist from way back. He'll have a 620k price tag and a break even of 115 versus Manly. Fuck, you'd be a brave man to do it then, but he's going to be probably sub 600 by the time they go to Perth. Yeah, he's probably going to be a pod as well. Certainly a guy you want for Anzac Day when they play the Dragons, and he always seems to go ham against them. So one to watch. If you owned him at the start of the season, you're filthy. You're probably never getting him back in, and I completely understand that. Two more guys. So McLean with a 49 and Markey with a 50. Shout out to those scores. That's fantastic for everybody. We're going to be able to get them at a really sharp price sooner rather than later. Those two are elite rugby league players, and they'll certainly be on my side this year. And then also just a quick shout out to my boy Blaze with a 64. I'm not sure if he's ever going to be overly relevant Supercoach-wise. He's kind of awkwardly priced. But just, again, another Penrith guy I just love watching play. He looks bigger and stronger this year. I kind of like his hair a little bit longer. That adds something to it for me. Yeah, it would be awesome to be in that system as a 20-year-old. His kicking game's come on a little bit as well. I'm noticing his bag's a little bit deeper in that regard. And yeah, just to be a fly on the wall at training where he's talking to Nath about the way to hit the Steeden would be fucking crazy. That left edge is going to be a problem for a long time. Blazer's only 20 and Casey McLean's still a teenager. Can you believe it? Just jumping over to the comments real quick. Sorry, that one's been on the screen for a little bit. Rugby League Realm chiming in. How are you, Realmy? Preserve Yo as long as possible. Again, you're getting what you pay for there, aren't you? You know, he's going to do 60 and 60. Maybe on the odd close game, he gets another 5, 10, 15 minutes. But this is the story of the year. Billy fucking Phillips, another classic off the Penrith Panthers Central West production line. Looks a goer, looking into those New South Wales Cup stats with him. He's a classic 60 and 60 guy as well. Yeah, go back and watch that Sharks game. He had a couple of hands and a couple of tries. Nice little offload through the middle. Tough as teeth. Shout out to Penrith for doing it once again. Big worry with IPAP is restings. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Realmy. You mean like kind of in-game restings or week to week? Yeah, I could very easily see that rotation changing and him kind of going back to the bench, them starting Garner, and then it kind of becomes a similar role to last year. But I don't know. A bit of back the fact that they probably want a combination on that left. I noticed that Garner actually re-signed this week. I think there was talk of him going to Perth, and I was kind of liking that for IPAP stocks on the left. But the fact that Garner's re-signed maybe says that Ivan has a plan for him. I don't know.
So yeah, I think if you don't own IPAP, you're not probably scrambling to bring him in. There's a lot of questions. But if you do have him like me, you're doing mental gymnastics to justify spending 600K. And then Max Smart Media, shout out to you, Maxie Brighton. Happy Saturday, mate. Blaze real boys to men season with that hit. Maxie, you've got a good eye. I knew I wasn't being too niche, given you're in the chat and on the stream here today. Just like the way it sits, it kind of flows a little bit. I'd like to sit maybe a touch longer as well. That just makes him run a little bit faster, and he looks taller. He just looks bigger, which doesn't shock. Probably shouldn't shock anyone, given he's on human growth hormone at the Penrith Medicine Cabinet. Final game, well, not the final game, but I guess the Thursday night game, the last one we'll finish on here, guys, was Canberra and the Dogs. I thought this was an absolute cracker. Both teams were chancing their arm despite the conditions. I feel like a lot of sides would have played a lot more conservatively in a Canberra monsoon. I love the contact through the middle all game. Those boys are absolutely bashing each other. The Canberra pack is must-watch telly every single week. They're full of hotheads. They're always on tilt. Yeah, fucking great shit as a 82-kilo pussy. Big defensive efforts from both sides. The scramble was crazy. Thought Tuala was awesome early. A couple of nice try savers. Connor Tracy, again, sorry for disrespecting you every other week. Generally, he was awesome in this game. Again, a couple of try savers, including the match-winning play on Sanders. Just so many little moments that show that these teams are both going to be out there and about. So Hosking diving on loose balls. Hudson Young smashing Galvin, standing over him. Then Preston, the next set, smashing Hudson, standing back over him. Galvin actually went over to Hudson after that hit to try and be like, yeah, good on you, cunt. And then Preston kind of shoot him away, being like, nah, I got this, dog. Just good shit. It was just great footy. I thought it was also interesting, like Sticky in the presser talking about the feeling he has for the team is going to be the same whether they win or lose. And I think that's so spot on and such a vet thing to say. Results matter. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, they matter. But if you're a fan of Canberra or the Dogs for that matter and you lose that game, you're like, fair play. We win that. We beat 80% of teams playing that with that kind of effort and heart. And both of them did that. So, yeah, really, really happy with that Thursday night time slot. In terms of the scores, Tamale with 99. I think that's actually updated since. 29 runs for Sav Tamale, 5 tackle breaks and a double. I thought he was dog shit against New Zealand. They really targeted him. Tanner Boyd's kicking game, few errors, bounced back so nicely. Surprised that Burton didn't kick more to him. They wanted to go to Savage a bit. I guess that makes sense given Burton's left boot, left edge, whatever. He made 29 runs, but I thought that Dogs actually kind of contained him well. Like you won't see Tamale run the ball 29 times for only 5 tackle breaks very often. But yeah, just love the involvement. Kind of like Blaze. He looks bigger and stronger of last year. He goes just mano a mano with everyone and just kind of gets into that and just throws them off. And that's unbelievable for probably a 6-foot winger. He's 3% owned. He's 550K. Few day games coming up. I think his day game average last year was a lot higher than his nighttime average. Obviously, at that price, it's kind of awkward. He's going to need the try scoring upside. Is it going to be there? Strange is on the left. The try is scored. The second try is scored, rather. Strange came to the left, and they ran a nice little bit of shape with Hudson and Chris and whatnot. But, Sanders is going to be on the left. Hudson Young demands a lot of ball. He's kind of the senior player on that edge now with Strange on the right. So, I don't know. Does it get past Hudson much? He kind of loves to tuck it under. So, yeah, Tamale, fuck. It's a tough sell, but I'm an absolute sucker for a tackle break. So, I'll have a look under the hood at some point. Speaking of Hudson Young, 95, 34 tackles, 5 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, 16 runs. The guy's just been absolutely everywhere this season. I've noticed him float from the left to the right. He's been putting in kicks on the right, like forced dropouts. He's just a dog, man. His break even was 94. So he's going to hold his price. He's looking like a top 3 2RF again. yeah, he's up there for me in terms of guys that I love watching play every week. Jacob Preston, 79, 37 tackles, 2 tackle breaks, 9 runs and a try. You know, if you were to just say what's your average Jacob Preston game, that's it. You know, he's another guy who looks bigger and stronger. I just wonder what's going on at these strength and conditioning departments in these clubs. You know, are we finding some Stephen Dank loopholes this year? Because all these blokes look bigger and better. He runs such a hard line, and Galvin looks for him a lot. I'd love to see him be the right edge back rower for the Blues. I know they'll probably pick Martin, and I get it, but fuck, is it time to blood Martin? Sorry, is it time to blood Preston and have Hudson on the left? That was a conversation another day. His break-even Preston will be 30 at 684K. So again, like Hudson Young, a dead set rugby league target in 2RF. If you started with him, you're getting more than what you paid for as well. Critter, 76. A try assist, 3 goals, 12 tackles, 4 tackle breaks, and 13 runs. Of those 13, 12 were over 8 meters. He looked so aggressive early. They got him a lot more touches than what I remember them getting him in Vegas. The, I guess, peekaboo kind of shape they ran for the Tracy try is, fuck, I'm going to put the blinds down a bit later and rewatch that a couple of times. That was so nice. Yeah, Critter, he's a diver. He did a customary dive, burn a challenge. He also got stunned a couple of times in defense. Yeah, I just wish he was more involved, but it looks like that's coming. There's good early signs. I love when he kind of cuts around the back of shape. He's so big and strong. Got a pretty underrated touch when it comes to his passing. And yeah, it's 600K. Is he a pod trade in this week? I don't know. It doesn't fuck. The involvements just aren't high enough. But 13 runs is good. They're looking to get him involved. If you own Critter and you watch that performance, it's probably you're so happy, but you're also so frustrated. It's like, why isn't he just getting like 3 or 4 more touches a game? Because he's their best player. Ark Martin, 59 points, 44 tackles, 6 runs. Ark Martin is Jacob Preston Jr. Those are exactly the same stats as what Preston puts out every other week. Martin is just always in the frame to score a try. Like he did it, obviously scored a double in round 1. Last week versus the Wars, he was pushing up a lot in that first half. They just couldn't find him. And then if you watch that Sanders break at the end, which I love, by the way, from Sanders, just thinking, fuck this, I got this, boys, and going for the try at 5 seconds left. Martin's there. Like, Martin's there. He just can't, I don't think he can coach those instincts. What would I know? But he's going to be a long-term hold and a safe play every week. Again, it's just Jacob Preston at 250K. Hudson does demand a lot of the ball on the left, and they did go at Tuala a lot, which to me probably explains the low carry count for Noah. But yeah, I guess as long as he's playing 80 on the right, he should be sweet to hold and play every day. A couple more before we wrap up here. Joey Tarpanay, 54 points in 35 minutes. I believe he had an HIA towards the end there. In that 54, 21 tackles, 11 runs, 3 tackle breaks, 4 offloads. Someone will correct me, but I don't know if he's offloaded it much this year until the other night. I think they clearly had a mandate from Sticky to offload against the Dogs to maybe try and disturb their defense because they're all offloading like crazy early. Yeah, he goes off the HIA, comes back on. Look, he's going to be 650K, Joey, with an 80 break even, and started to look pretty reachable. Is he super coach relevant? Absolutely. Over his last 66 games, he averages 70 points. And I don't believe he's very highly owned. So, yeah, if we get a peaking Finafuiaki or whoever, these guys, once they peak, it could be only like a 50 to 75K walk to Joey Taps, who's a certified gun. Jacob Kiraz, speaking of certified guns, fucking hell, man. 28 points, 15 runs, 2 offloads, 0 tackle breaks. There's a problem with his shoulder. It's kind of well documented at this point. You saw it in the preseason with the strapping. in Vegas. He scores a try, lands on the point of it. First tackle, first carry the other night, lands it on again. He's looking very sick and sorry. Noticed him passing it before the line on kick returns, which happens, but usually when he does that, he gets in and takes the second carry. Didn't do that. 0 tackle breaks. So rare. He's going to have 102 break even next week. Even if he pumps out a couple of 70s, he'll be 670K, which I'm pretty sure means he drops like 100K by round 6. You probably couldn't do it, though. I think it might be like a week-to-week situation with him. Wouldn't shock me if he's actually rested for a little bit. 2 more guys. Simi Sasangi, 50. 15 tackles for Simi, 16 runs. So doing his best Robert Torre impersonation in the centers there. 5 tackle breaks. And he averages 70 for his career when he plays center. He's going to be 470K. Obviously, Timoko is going to come back in, you'd think. You know, international center and that. But, yeah, just shout out to Simi Sasangi. Curious what they do when Sangi comes back onto the bench. What does that mean for Martin? I don't know. I guess time will tell. And then Ethan Sanders with the 43. You know, having 2-gun halfbacks has got to be the go. You know, we've seen Hughes, Hughes, Nath, Nico, AD all ton up. Look, Sanders and Akko are going to make money, but they're not going to give you the ceiling the other guys have. You got to get off them. Love Sanders as a player. Loved his intent at the end. The long kicking game was elite. But, yeah, these dudes aren't making fucking 300K very quickly. So, get off them. That wraps up all 3 games, guys, from this weekend thus far. Just a quick comment here from Maxi Bryden. Huddy Young just playing bully ball. Now he doesn't have a half on his side. I reckon the play call is get the fuck out of my way. Give me the seed, Paul Gallen style. Hey, Sanders, you got a nice little left foot. My name's Hudson Young. I'm a dog. Give me the steeded. And, yeah, again, he's just everywhere, isn't he, Maxi? You know, gets the right, like, he's on the dummy half at right edge sometimes. Like, fucking putting in grubbers. Just a great footballer to watch. Today's games, 3 games, obviously, on a Saturday. We've got Newey versus the Waz at Newey. It's probably going to be Old Boys Day at Newcastle. It seems to always be fucking Old Boys Day at that joint. Very disappointed as a Fletcher Sharp owner that he's not going to be present. But I personally have Bradman Best and Trey Mooney in that game. So excited to see them go around. Then the Sharks play the Finns at Shark Park with that beautiful, beautiful golden yellow hotel overlooking the grounds. Optics are strange there. This is a Sharks time slot, Shark Park. You know, you got 11,000 people there, all on the piss. You know, they're doing the spirit fingers and shit. Nico's hair is going to be wet come hell or high water. I've got the C on Val right now, but I could be tempted by Nico if I see like a nice montage on Fox League or something of him warming up and kicking goals from the sideline. So, yeah, I got Nico in that game and Herbie. Oh, fuck, Herbie's playing today. That's awesome. Great to watch him as well. Then the final game is Souths versus Wests up at Gosford. Fucking cracking 7:30 game tonight. I think there's going to be points deluxe in this one. I don't have any Souths players, I don't think, apart from... That's right. No, Fafita, obviously. Otherwise, fuck Souths. Latrap is a trap. And then AD for me, guys, to carry us home. That should just about do it. Final comment here from Maxi Brighton. A sniffer dog he is. A sniffer dog he is. Not to be confused with the sniffer dogs at Central Station who harass teenagers. Good to know our public funding is going to good places instead of the car park at the Sydney Football Stadium, which is still under construction and has been for a couple of years now, Maxi. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch up with you when we next catch up with you. See you later.